Join me today for another exciting episode of Spinning My Wheels. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before, and welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. This will be another episode of Spinning My Wheels. Today we'll be talking about more D&D undead creatures. Today we'll be talking primarily about ghouls and some of the creatures related to them. So if you have not seen it yet, and you want to know about some of the other lower level undead, I did a video talking about zombies already, and I mentioned ghouls in there because the way zombies are portrayed in movies as undead flesh eaters, mythologically speaking, the correct term for that is a ghoul, not a zombie. Zombies, again, mythologically speaking here, are Haitian voodoo zombies, is the general concept. I have no idea if it predates anything from Haiti, so I'm not trying to single out Haiti on this one, just that's where I know of the concept originating. Could be mistaken. And there, it's either someone who has been like enthralled by, I don't know what they call the person, so I'm not even going to guess when it comes to voodoo and the like, because I don't want to insult anyone here. But one of the things is they can be enthralled, and that's usually through like psychoactive substances, or it's someone that gets poisoned by, I believe, tetrodotoxin from the pufferfish, and so they appear to be dead, and they go through the whole, they bury them and everything, and then the person who's going to try to control them, digs them up and is like, hey, so you were dead, and now I resurrected you, and now I'm going to keep feeding you like psychoactive drugs to keep you under control, so now you're my mind-controlled undead slave. Even though you're not undead, like, you just appeared dead, you didn't actually die. So, there's a handful of cases that people can kind of point to on this, or at least according to the special I saw on the Discovery Channel one day there are, and that was before Discovery Channel became Ancient Aliens the channel, so I halfway believe most of what was on there. But anyway, that's what the zombies are supposed to be. Like just mindless, slaves to someone else's will, undead or not. It just depends on the variant we're talking about. But they're not supposed to be flesh-eating corpses that have been reanimated. Those are ghouls, which is what we're going to be talking about now. So, if you look, one of the hallmark traits of ghouls throughout various editions is they have a paralyzing touch. So if they attack and succeed and you fail, I believe it's a Constitution save, you're paralyzed because they inject some kind of poison or something into you. And if you note, like on a zombie, the main attack is a slam attack. They punch you or run into you or whatever, whereas with a ghoul, there are claw attacks, which is the one that can paralyze you, and a bite attack because they eat people. So, yeah. Now, regular ghouls, they're not mindless. They do have an intelligence score. It's abysmal. It's like a 7, but they have one. They typically hunt in packs. They don't decay, so they can last forever, and they typically haunt places like graveyards and mausoleums and places where they have ready access to corpses to eat. And so their whole, at least in 5th edition, I don't know about previous editions if they had a specific origin like this, but looking it up for 5th edition, it seems like they were created primarily, well, there's a 2-step process here. The first ghoul was Dorsane, who is now the Ghoul King. He was an elf who indulged in the whole, hey, I'm going to eat people thing. And a little short on details, don't know if they were alive at the time or not. So, so Orcus, the demon prince of Undead, transformed him into the first ghoul, and then his job was to basically just start creating more ghouls and sending them out to wreak havoc, which he did for a long time. Now, I don't know how much of that is new to 5th edition. I had never heard of Dorsane until 4th edition, so I think he's a 4th edition addition. Try to say that 5 times fast. Actually, you probably could. It's not hard to say, but it won't sound right. So he was, in 4th edition, he was an exarch, which, for those of you that don't know about 4th edition, that was the equivalent of a demigod, or a god, but that a god that was subservient to another god. So, like some of the chosen were elevated to the position of exarch. Like, I'm probably going to horribly mispronounce his name, Fazul Kimbrel. He was the chosen of Bane and the high priest of the Church of Bane. And so he ascended to at least demigodhood in 4th edition. Also the leader of the Zentarum for a while after the Manchu Wars. That could be a whole video unto itself. Probably will be someday. So anyway, Dorsane was the equivalent of an exarch in 4th edition. And so I don't know how much of this lore is basically just copying from 4th edition and how much is new for 5th edition, because I know he was tied into Orcus in 4th edition. That's who he's an exarch too. So, you know, we'll have to see if any of the few 4th edition books I have actually cover that or not. But anyway, with ghouls, there's another form of ghoul called a ghast. Ghast. Now, they are the intelligent ones. They have an 11 intelligence, so they're at least average intelligence, and they're typically like the leaders who rally the other ghouls, and they have actual like goals and objectives, and you know, like the other ghouls aren't mindless, but they're not, you know, they're not doing any long-term plotting with a 7 intelligence. You know, an 11, they might have some kind of scheme. You know, it's not going to be a super complex scheme, but you know, they're going to have something beyond, hey, we need to eat tonight. So, or they have the capacity to anyway. And so they're also, you know, a little bit stronger and probably a higher save on their claw attack, and but it's the same general concept. They're basically super ghouls. So just a minor side note here, I think in Pathfinder, and I'm basing this entirely on the miniatures, but I think in Pathfinder ghouls are smarter, because there's a number of miniatures that definitely seem to indicate like a stratified ghoul society. There's a ghoul monarch, there are ghoul hunters, there are ghoul cultists. So I get the impression, but I don't own any Pathfinder materials, so I can't double check personally, but I get the impression that ghouls are a little smarter in Pathfinder. And so if you want if you want more intelligent undead, but not at the level of, say, a vampire or a lich or a devourer or something like that, then maybe think about, bumping up a few of the stats on some of the ghouls, and maybe have a ghoul kingdom. I believe it's Kobold Press has an adventure that has to do with like fighting against the whole kingdom of ghouls, and they have a king and everything. So something I would consider. And it's also possible in previous editions of D&D that this was also the case. But the capacity is already there in the existing stats, for them to be intelligent. And once you have that, they're already pack hunters. So organizing beyond that, I mean, a lot of the, again, thanks to the Discovery Channel, a number of learned individuals think that's where our overall intelligence came from. Initially starting as a pack animal, and well, as a pack animal, you have to be able to communicate with the pack and follow a plan. So that's what ultimately gave rise to our greater intelligence. Initially, like after a certain point, it's the whole like, well, obviously if you're smarter, you're probably going to get ahead, so you're going to succeed and the others aren't, and so on and so on. And you can see it in wolves and dogs also. Pack hunters and very smart animals as a result. So just kind of apply a little bit of that if you want to have a big fight with a bunch of lower level undead, but organized, and not necessarily because they're being led by a necromancer. So ghouls and gas are the way to go. Then in 4th edition, I know there were some other types of ghouls, or there's one in particular, a plague touched ghoul, because of the spell plague. So if you can get a hold of whatever book that would have been in, because 4th edition was like the previous edition that had multiple monster manuals, and had a book just about the undead, although I would imagine this is in one of the monster manuals, or possibly the Forgotten Realms campaign guide. But you might want to take a look at those and see how they were different, and try to update the 5th edition Ghoul to take that into account. I know, at least visibly, they have like a large gaping maw here with teeth and everything, and it kind of glows blue like the fire from the spell plague. So, it might be an interesting idea to try to bring in your 5th edition game if you can get a hold of stats, or just based on my description there, run with something else. Have another bite attack that maybe does magic damage, or like if they're a magic user, sucks out one of their spells or something, since it's the spell plague. Just some ideas. I don't know. But yeah, so that's another lower level undead. Don't know if I'm going to do a video on skeletons, because they're pretty straightforward. It's just an animated skeleton that's going to fight till it's dead again. So, that's the video right there. Although there are some creative uses for them, so I might, but I'll have to combine it with another undead creature to illustrate a kind of nasty trick you can pull on your players. But anyway, we'll see what comes up there. I'll read into it a little bit, see if there's any. I can't imagine there's any tremendous lore behind animated skeletons, since the concept goes back to, I don't know, it's like ancient Greece, I think. probably beyond that. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of talk about more undead creatures in Dungeons and Dragons, and let me know what you think about the presentation here, the creatures I'm going with, any other undead creatures you want to hear about. Like I said, I might do the one on the skeletons, and then start working my way back towards the more powerful undead creatures. I do plan on doing a video on the Devourer, because it's definitely changed throughout the editions, and it's definitely a potentially terrifying undead creature. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you know the deal. It's YouTube. Click the like, subscribe, share it around, make some comments. But either way, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you folks later.